Hello and welcome to today's episode on the history of colonization. Over a period of nearly 500 years, European-based nations colonized almost the entire planet, including all of North America, all of South America, and almost all of Africa, with the exception being Liberia. It all started in 1492 when a presumably Genoan man by the name of Christopher Columbus set sail for the Spanish government for the first time. He came up with the unique idea of reaching the Indies by sailing west across the Atlantic instead of sailing around Africa and through the Indian Ocean. The government of Spain supported this idea because they thought that sailing west might be a quicker way to get there. As a result, Columbus sailed the ocean and about a year later, in 1493, arrived in a place that he thought was the Indies, but he was enough of an unobservant imbecile, or a dumb person I should add, to sail there 5 more times without realizing that he was not in the Indies, but rather an entire new continent. As time went on, though, people quickly began to realize where Columbus had actually landed, and more explorers decided to travel there. Unfortunately, though, this is where all the fun ends. You see, as more Europeans ventured to the Americas, they saw that the continents were rich in various valuable items and resources, so they took them and brought them back to Europe. This is actually the reason why European nations developed an interest in America in the first place. For probably as much as 1,000 years, Europe lacked significantly valuable minerals and natural resources, and as a result, virtually everyone was severely struggling financially, since you need valuable items as money to pay for necessities. Europe needed many things that it did not have, but it couldn't get those things from other countries because they had nothing to trade with them in return. So it's basically kind of like a situation where, say, like Spain or France or England, for example, asks, like, China, let's say, hey, we need some of these valuable things you have, can you give them to us? And then China says, well, what's in it for me? And then the European country just says, well, I don't have anything to give to you. And then obviously China's going to say, well, I'm not just going to give you something for free. And I think that's understandable. This situation worsened when the bubonic plague struck Europe, because nobody had proper medicine, since they could not get the minerals and resources from other regions of the world to make the medicines, since they had nothing to trade. This is why so many people suffered and died during this time period. When Europeans discovered America, however, they saw that the region was rich in everything that they desperately needed, so they knew that they had to take some of it. Many explorers, including Christopher Columbus, gave anything valuable that they had to the Native Americans in return for their precious items. But the problem was that Europeans simply didn't have anything to give to the Native Americans that was useful, so they just had to take without giving anything, basically. Eventually, though, as Europe became more and more wealthy from the Americas' resources, they became very greedy and wanted more and more, even though they already had enough. This is ultimately why Europe colonized Africa a few centuries later. That is the end of today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider subscribing and sharing our videos with others who may enjoy them as well. Also, in every video, I am picking a random town or village and announcing it at the end of the video, so if you live in that town, feel free to write a quick message in the comments section. And today's choice is Worb, W-O-R-B, in Switzerland.